Hiya knitters. In this week's video I will be showing you how to make the waist yarn scrunchie by Katharina Rintorf. This is a free pattern and it's perfect for using up any excess yarn you have, any waste yarn as it says in the name, or as simple little gifts for people. Now to make this you first need to choose your yarn, as pattern will change depending on what yarn you choose, as well as the tools you will need. So as part of 2021 stash busting, you may recognise this yarn from some previous videos I have done. I think the rainbow heart keyrings. I have made tons of things with this, but I've got this little ball left of it when I had like 4 last year. So I'll be using this simple double knit. So because I'm using that, I will be using my HiyaHiya bamboo flyers. These are the 3.5mm ones. This yarn calls between a 3.5 and a 4mm, so it might be a slightly smaller scrunchie with this, but I will be using them. For this project, you can use flyers, or you could just use DPNs, you could use short fix circulars, you could also use long fix circulars and use magic loop method, whichever one is your preference. But today I thought I would show you how I do them with these. The other items I will be using for this project, first of all, is a hairband. You can buy these in multiple packs relatively cheaply, just simple elastic hair tie. And then I am also going to need some scissors, which today I am using my rainbow guitar scissors. Simple embroidery scissors, nice and sharp, perfect for all yarns, in a lovely, getting the shine on there, shiny rainbowy guitar pattern. I'm also using some locking stitch markers. They do come in handy at the end, pinning your work together as you sew it up, but I'll get to that later. And the last thing you're needing is a darning needle, which I have got a couple of our Darnit darning needles here to show you. Do these in packs of 3, come in a variety of colours. This is a purple and orange one. Now this has 3 options for sizes, whether you're using needles at 2mm, 3mm or 4mm. Because I'm going for a 3.5, I'm going to go for the smallest cast on option. So I am starting by casting on 60 stitches. I will be using the good old long tail cast on method. Right, so I have cast on 30 at this point onto my flyer, which, if you haven't used flyers before, the perk of these compared to DPNs is depending how many stitches you've got on your work and what sort of shape your work is, you don't need as many needles. So for me to do this, I'd need 4 needles on DPNs, 3 to have my work resting on, and then a 4th one to work into. But because these are really good and flexible, really flexible, I can cast 30 on each of these 2 and use the 3rd needle to work into it. So you can cast all 60 stitches on here and transfer it across, but because I've used these quite a bit, I'm used to doing it the way I'm about to show you, which is, got my 30 there. I've made sure they're in the middle on that cable where they're kept nice and secure. And then untangle it, grab my next needle and cast on right next to it. And it is a little bit fiddly. Do that, pull it nice and tight, and then carry on. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to do 30 on this one, and it just makes it quicker when you're casting on to join in the round. But of course, make sure when you do join in the round that you haven't twisted your stitches. another perk of the flyers is the fact that your stitches are nice and safe in that centerpiece. The bamboo has enough grip to keep them in there. The size difference between the cable and the adapter here, just nice and secure. So at this point you want to join this in the round. I am going to trim the tail because I don't want to get confused and start knitting with that. And then I think I've done this in a previous video showing you how to join in the round, which if I can find the relevant one, I will link up in the corner for you. There we go. So you want to make sure that your cast on stitches are all facing the same way when you join in the round. So I tend to lay it out like so. And you can see that cast on edge is all there. And when we say don't twist your stitches, it's making sure this hasn't twirled around a few times. So when you get to knitting there, it creates a gap or it becomes hard to knit and it just doesn't look good. So you're going to want to pick up your third flyer. And as if you are going to, with DPNs, join in the round, have your two with your work on it in your hand, like so. And then grab the third needle and pull those stitches up towards the tip so it's easier for them to slide off. Now whilst I'm doing this, the stitches from the needle I'm not working with are kept in the middle on that cable, but the stitches that I am working with are near the ends of these tips. And you kind of get used to how to hold these. So I've got the tip I'm not working with, needle I'm not working with, kind of curved into the palm of my hand here and hooking onto it with these fingers, whilst my index finger and my thumb are holding the tip in my hand. And I've heard mixed reactions about them. Some people love their DPNs, some people swear by these, but I tend to find it depends on the project I'm working on. But if you do have a chance to try our flyers, please do, because I'm so happy to hear when other people have a good experience with them and find it improves their work. So you never know, it might help you. So this is a very simple pattern in the fact that once you are cast on, joined in the round and started working, it is simply stockinette stitch in the round until the needed length. So knitting every stitch around and around and around. And you want to carry on knitting like this until your piece measures about 7 centimetres. So these are our bamboo flyers, but we also do them in sharpened steel. We have a mix of different lengths and a mix of different tips. And if you own any of the HiyaHiya miniature sock range, we also do interchangeable flyers. And these tips mix and match with the sock range perfectly. They're the pink cables, small tips. So rather than buying tons of different flyers, you could just buy the different size tips and one set of the cables. They're all available on our site for our stockists to purchase. However, if you are looking for somewhere to buy a set for your own personal use, I will have a link to all of our stockists below in the description. So you can find someone close to you or someone who sells internationally who'll be able to sell you a set. Right, I am just going to speed this up and I will join you again once this is 7 centimeters long. So once you have knitted 6.5 to 7 centimeters, you'll have something that looks like this, little tubey. And the next thing to do is to loosely bind off your work, and then I will show you how to attach this to your hair tie to make your scrunchie. So at this point you want to cut a long tail, and it suggests just over 1 meter, so you can sew up your work. So using my guitar rainbow scissors, and then grabbing one of my darning needles. This is going to be a bit hard to show you properly on camera because how long the thread is. Just do that there. So, to attach this to your hair bobble of choice, you first of all want to turn it inside out. And this can be a little bit tricky. You want to pop your knitted thing. You want to pop your knitting inside of this, and it will keep trying to escape because the size difference, but that size difference is what will give it that poofy, scrunchy look. There are instructions on the pattern on how you can lightly steam your work before doing this to make it easier. But what I've tended to do is this is when I grab my stitch markers, and our locking stitch markers or safety pins will do fine for this. Put a few down. Nice and bright and colourful. And then I can use these to pin the sides together around the scrunchie or around the bobble. So let's do this again. Pick the side. Go get 2 stitches. Go grab a stitch marker. And then if this focuses, I'm just going to join 2 stitches just roughly together here so it helps keep it in place. And I'm going to repeat this a couple more times. To help keep this together as I sew it up. This can be fiddly, will be slightly annoying, but it will be worth it. Funny thing about this pattern, it is a really simple, easy pattern. Perfect for beginner knitters who want to try something knitting in the round. But potentially the hardest thing of it is this bit. Is trying to form the shape without it repeatedly falling off your hairband. But 4 joins should do it. And then these can be rough because as you're sewing up the piece going around, you will match the sides together, so it won't be as wonky. And yep, that should do me. And it's just starting to sew the 2 bits together. Best result is using mattress stitch and making sure that you're matching stitches together, not missing a single one. And if you've got any ends like this, tuck them inside as you work so they don't need weaving in at the end. And yeah, you want to go around, don't miss a single stitch to prevent holes, and sew these together. Okay, so it is suggested to use the mattress stitch doing this, but I just went for a simple wraparound because I love creating, anytime I make patterns in this yarn, let that focus, there we go, I love creating this sort of effect. So I've done the wraparound, and then I'm just going to bind this off, tie this off, and I'm going to cheekily thread this through the actual scrunchie, pull tight, drop it, floof it out, and then my tail's inside of the scrunchie. And that's it finished. Probably took me about 45 minutes to an hour to make this whole thing, and most of the time I spent just doing a stockinette stitch in the round. Yeah. Now you can readjust this if you want. I have done some before where I've taken the outside stitch and moved it, rotated it around the band so that was in the centre, so you had the full poofiness. This one I'm going to keep it this stitched effect because I really like that. But I can quickly show you what I mean by the other style. I just playing about with it. Pull it out there. Yeah, that's about right. And then you have the more typical look for scrunchies. So yeah. Really quick and easy pattern, brilliant for gifting people and brilliant for using up any leftover yarn if you're stash busting or if you've got any scraps. There are some excellent videos out there of some of our retailers I've seen how to ball up and cake leftover scraps, which are perfect for projects like this. To buy any of the products I have used in this video, I'll put a link to all of our stockists below. And if you wish to become a stockist, I will also link the registration below for you. Please give us a like and subscribe to see more updates from the world of HiyaHiya, and head over to our Instagram, Facebook, Ravelry, all your social media platforms to see our daily updates. And until next time, happy knitting!